You can support this show at patreon.com/ASA podcasting.
I want the future to be now.
Fallout is pretty as snow when the ash starts to glow. The feel of radiating through your home. Fallout is pretty as snow when the ash starts to glow. The feel of radiating through your home. Fallout is pretty as snow when the ash starts to glow. The feel of radiating through your home. Fallout is pretty as snow when the ash starts to glow. The feel of radiating through your home.
Hello and welcome to the 444th edition of the Fallout feed. I am Andrew, joined by a flock of my favorite Fallout folks. Tonight, we've got Jess. What's up, Jess?
Hey, Andrew. Greets, everybody.
And Ray. What's going on, Ray?
Hello, hello.
Tonight on the show, we will be going over some of our gameplay, as per usual. Got a couple of items in game time, one of which is a brand new brainstorm that we're forcing Jess to pull off here on the nick of time. So it'll be great fun, I'm sure. A little bit of iguana bits, but not really. It's been the holiday season. Happy New Year, everyone. Hope everyone had a Merry Christmas. Be safe this upcoming New Year. That also means that the news station has shut down. You know, they don't make a lot of news over the holiday. Got a couple of shouts on the way out the door, though. Were you about to say something there, Jess?
No, I was just nodding in agreement.
Sweet.
The iguana bits we're kind of sold out. We're low on the bits.
No bits. So let's go ahead and roll right into her. Hey, Ray, did you get a chance to play any video games over the last week?
No, not too much. Jess, what'd you play?
Oh, nice.
Okay, I was supposed to be stalling so she could make a list.
Did he really do that?
You've got plenty anyway, I'm sure. You always do. I imagine. Did you get to play much this week?
I did. I recognized that I did not have the Golden Vector spaceship in my Xbox characters on No Man's Sky, and since they redid the original cartographer's expedition, I was able to hop in and real quick and only slightly painfully get that expedition completed on Xbox. So now I finally have the Golden Vector on that.
Remind me what the Golden Vector means.
So Golden Vector is a special ship that was a reward for one of the expeditions, and so it's an all gold S-class spaceship, real fancy.
But it's not like a pop culture reference, Doctor Who type thing or whatever.
No. The original early, so if you signed up for the game early, you got I don't remember exactly what it was called, but it was something Vector.
The Golden Vector?
No.
But that's the new one. Okay.
That's the new one. And so when they did this first expedition, they made a gold version of it, and that was the Golden Vector. So,
how many pop culture ships have they done? Was it just the Mass Effect one?
Yeah, that's the only one I can think of. Everything else is, I mean, they've got stuff that's close, but not really, designed like anything in particular or called anything specific.
You also don't really build your ship, right?
No.
So much, so you can't control the design. It's just randomized, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any control over the wings orientation or anything? Nothing. Okay.
So what you do is you go on the No Man's Sky Coordinate Exchange Reddit, and there people list all of the cool ships that they find, And so you can go through, and they have a sorting feature, and so you can sort it by certain types of ships, and you can find one that looks like what you want, and then those people will have posted the game coordinates for the system that has those ships, and you go through a portal, and then you camp out and at the either space station or a trade post and wait for your ship to come in.
So you're not like buying it from someone. It's randomly coming
yeah,
in.
you buy it from an NPC, one of the pilots in the game. You'll have to buy it from him. But not from a player.
You gotta wait until the cow comes home.
Yeah. So got that knocked out. I've been playing a lot of Skyrim. Once I got that back up and running, I loaded a mod that has been a lot of fun. It puts Master Thief stashes in all of the caves in Skyrim, and so you have to go run around and try to find those stashes. And
what's in a Master Thief stash?
Yep. I'm starting to run out of gas on my Starfield very hard character because
it's too hard.
No, it's because it's too easy.
What?
So slowly but surely you get a lot of really high powered guns and spacesuits and everything else. And then, you can't get any better guns than what you've got because you've already got, the best gun you can find.
You start tapping out. What level are you at on this character doing the very hard?
I think I'm 31.
Okay, so not even that high yet, but you're getting, the best you can get for that level.
Yeah. And so it's you go through a lot. You spend a lot of time on planets going through the facilities, and you're looking for the bosses to fight, and they're the ones that drop the best loot. But you get to where you're going through the same ones over and over again.
Yeah, that is such a repetitive grind. It's one of the chief complaints about the game from people. So, like I've talked about how I avoid the procedural stuff unless I'm sent there for a quest, but you're doing it deliberately because that's the way to find tougher enemies and get better loot, right?
Right. Yeah, that's where you're going to find the level 98 legendary enemies.
Mm-hmm.
And
So speaking of the way that that's working, now it's not that you've necessarily burnt out on the game, although you may need a break at some point here with how much you've played it. But like the actual challenge level of the very hard has turned out to be less challenging as you've gone because of the way the loot happens. And
yeah. So really, by the time you're level 12, 13, you're really starting to feel overpowered. It's not as much of a challenge anymore. You still have to be careful. Because those characters can still one-shot you until you've gotten all superior helmets, packs, and armor. You're still vulnerable, but once you've got those superior components, you can take a beating.
Superior's dropping for you already at level 30. So on hard, do the higher levels drop sooner, you think?
Well, so the level of the gear that you get is not your level. It's based on the level of the enemies that you're fighting.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm in level 75 systems, landing on planets and fighting level 98 enemies. And so they're dropping advanced weapons and superior and advanced armors. So, and that's why you can do this, because so the first thing you do is you just gather a bunch of cornered weapons, because you're going to be nearly dead all the time.
And cornered weapons are like bloodied weapons.
Are like bloodied.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're able to do a lot of damage early on because you've got no health, and you're starting to pick up advanced weapons. And then it just kind of rolls from there. It's still a lot of fun. I'll probably start a new character just to go through it again. But it does get really grindy really quick.
And you probably do start to notice, even with the mods that you do have, that as big as the game is repeating the same stuff, it probably gets old after a bit without a new challenge. We know that one of the things that they're aiming for is the hoped for, well, in a different way, but the hoped for survival mode. But instead they're doing kind of like custom world settings for your own game, like the way that we do in 76. So I am curious, like if that's going to create a whole new set of challenges. Like if you can turn on survival mechanics, you can turn on food mechanics, if you can, essentially tweak enemy damage values, or like whether or not legendaries can even drop. Like doing a no legendary gun run might be interesting too, change that up.
Yeah. I mean, and that would definitely make it a lot harder. Now you can still, so my original go-to for advanced weapons was going to the collapsed mines, because just outside the collapsed mine is a mine cart with a body laying there, and there's a good chance that you'll find a weapon. And if you're in a level 55 or higher world, that weapon is going to be advanced. And so that's where I was able to get my first advanced hard target at level, I think I was 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
And so it gives you a fighting chance against those higher level enemies. So it will be nice to to see what kind of stuff you can get with the survival mechanics. Make things a little more interesting. At this point, I can't even imagine playing on hard or normal, because very hard is I've kind of got to where that's like normal for me now.
That feels normal. That is pretty impressive. So once again, not like survival, where there is a definite difficulty curve and all these changes. It's not that hard at all once you get used to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. As long as so the first thing that you do is you go, do the, 15 or 20 jumps that you have to do to get to the higher level systems in the frontier. With its, I think, 14 light year, jumps, because you have to really pick your way through the systems just to be able to get onto that side of the map, because there's a couple of spots where you get stuck, where everything's too far away. And so then, the first thing you do is you go find you land on a planet, go steal a ship that has a higher jump range, so that then you can start, getting out even further and get to, to those high level systems. But the other thing is that it completely took away space battles. So all I would do would be to put all of my power to my grav drive, so that, as soon as I got into a system, I would immediately grav jump to another system so that nobody could shoot at me.
Oh.
Because when you're in that high of a system, there's no way that that
Right. Your baby ship is going to handle that. Yeah.
So
What was the first ship you upgraded to? Did you immediately go grab like
I think
the Mantis ship or something?
no. You you wouldn't be able to do the Mantis quest on very hard without higher level weapons. And you can't get higher level weapons until you get to the farther systems, the higher systems. So the first thing you do is you land on a planet and take over a ship. Because interestingly enough, so the enemies that you find on the outside of a spaceship are going to be the planet level enemies, but the enemies that you find inside the ship are going to be your level. So there could be, you land on a planet, you go in, you've got a bunch of level 50 and 60 ecliptic outside the ship. You run as fast as you can, you get inside the ship, and they're all, level 5 and level 8 ecliptics. So it's it's interesting. I'm kind of done with the factions and new game plus and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
But exploring the worlds is still a lot of fun. So that's what I've got going on with that. And I think, I've done a lot of space battles in, all my hours in Starfield. So not doing them now is no big deal.
How would you rate the very hard difficulty level with your you acquiring higher level gear with that of the curve in Fallout 4? Whereas, like, if you're playing survival mode, you mentioned by like level whatever you have this, and this. It was like, well, it's kind of like that in Fallout 4 too in survival mode. Once you hit a certain plateau, you've got enough legendary gear and you've got the legendary weapons that you're just sort of like plowing through things that, things are really hard, but, you've also got the countermeasures. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of different because at least in Fallout 4, you can make your guns. If you get a nice legendary early on, you can you can increase its power. You can increase its level by using either the gun nut perk or just upping it at the workbench. In Starfield, you've got to get so many levels, all focused in science, in order to get to where you can use the weapons workbench to make your weapon stronger. So there you use the level mechanic that's built in as far as the refined, the calibrated, the advanced and superior system to get stronger and stronger weapons. Then you use the legendary drop system, which is easier than in Fallout. In Fallout 4, even with survival mode, you can't know that every building you go into is going to have a legendary enemy in it for sure.
Right.
But in Starfield, every building that you go into is going to have at least one, and sometimes, 2 or 3.
So definitely as a boss on very hard, and then possibly others. It's because they're built from a template, right? Like building must contain this and this and this.
Yeah.
So they're all going to hit that.
So one thing I did find out that, with one of the most recent updates, um, the enemies inside of a building will take the legendary items out of the boss chest and use them against you.
I like that. It's like your
So
companion stealing power armor, or like settler stealing power armor.
so you can
Nice.
find Joe Schmo, off in the corner that you killed, carrying a legendary weapon, and then you go to the boss chest and there isn't one there. So that's definitely something that they added to the mechanic. But any of the bosses that you can tell they've got the segmented health bar. When you get to those, they can be farmed for legendaries. The legendary that they drop is not set until they die. So if you get them down to the last of their health, you can do a quick save.
Oh boy!
And then finish them off. Go check and see what they've got. If you don't like it, reload, shoot them again, check, and you keep doing that until you get something that you really like.
That's so much better than it saving at like the doorway or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and having to go through the whole building again.
Yes.
Clear out all the the underlings until you get to the legendary. Yeah, so it's a little easier system to farm in. But it's also why I carry 3-star mag storms. So because you just keep getting, once you get rolling, you really get, some nice equipment.
So
but
you can,
you also might have to reload 60 or 70 times.
So you can farm equipment. It sounds like. How about the? I don't even know how to phrase the question. That's what I get for speaking before thinking. No, I was just thinking about how it relating to Fallout 4 again. Sorry.
Yeah, with Fallout 4, it really, you can, depending on whether you use a regular save or a quick save, you can either change the legendaries on a particular type of weapon, or you can, change the actual type of gear that you get from the drop. With Starfield, it's just completely random. So one time it might be a Navy cutlass with bleeding damage, and then you hit him again and it's a helmet, and then you hit him again and it could be a pistol, and you just keep going until you get the type of weapon that you're looking for, or the type of armor. So, and I have done characters where I have leveled up the weapons workbench, so that I could mod weapons. And there are some good mods that you can add, especially if you're doing shotguns and stuff like that. But all in all, I think you can find better weapons than you can make.
And in Fallout 4, if you knew where to go, you could snatch up like a named legendary weapon. Are there planted named legendary weapons in Starfield anywhere? Like, oh, I know if I go here, I'll get that.
Yeah.
There's plenty of that stuff too.
There's
Yeah.
ones at certain shops for sure is a big thing. I definitely, they seem to be tied more to vendors and quests, right? Like certain quests, you'll get a special reward, and certain vendors, you'll get a definite option to buy. I'm trying to think of any that you would just find at locations.
Well, so my character um, didn't start the Constellation quest line.
Oh, okay.
So I don't have access to the eye.
Mhm.
So I've never met Vlad, but I know where Vlad's house is.
Oh, yeah. You know where the spacer gun is.
And so I was able to go there and get his named weapon. All you have to do is have advanced one level of lockpick. So
Very nice. That is a good early location. Once again, you got to know the game. You got to be brave. But we're developing that knowledge over time
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Starfield, just like we have with Fallout.
yeah,
There.
it
I
is
finished
a
my
little
game,
bit
y'all.
tricky
I'm
though,
good.
because that location is also very prone to a space battle. When you get to the planet.
Mhm.
And so if you're playing on very hard and you level 7 or 8, you're probably not going to get to the surface before you get blown up.
Lee has a question in chat. Since you've done it multiple times, you would know better. Is Vlad's weapon a set group? Is Vlad's weapon a set group of stats, or can it be random?
So the what is it, a mag shear, I think it is.
Yeah, the pirate one, the like Spacer's Delight or whatever it's called.
So that one I believe is fixed. But the other legendaries that you can pick up inside inside that same room, there's one that's always a Kadama, but it's not always the same.
Okay.
So that can be varied. So there's also a great place to pick up legendary weapons when you first start the game.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you've dropped off the artifact at Constellation, you can immediately go get back in the ship and then fly to the forward base at Ptolemy, and go to that facility where you go for the terramorphs.
Right, you can get in there early. Okay.
You can get there right away. They tell you got to leave, but you land and nobody gives a crap.
You get time. They're like, leave or else. See, I always thought I'd be like taken to the brig or something if I didn't leave quickly. So you say, okay, sure thing, boss. Then you land and you go right to the xenomorph facility and because I know the armor doesn't generate until you're on the quest, but the helmets and stuff do, you said, like some of the gear.
Yeah, and the weapons in the weapons room. And you can steal those. Because the guard looks one direction, and you can steal all the stuff on this side of the room, and then they look the other direction and you steal all the weapons from the other side of the room. And those are also variable. So if you go in and they don't have a weapon you like, you can reload and go back and check again. And so, the one that I'm always looking for is the cornered Orion.
Okay.
So when does that one regenerate? As soon as you click the button on the container, or
no? That one you have to reload from your ship.
Every time you land. A lot of times it basically generates what you're going to find when you land, if it's outdoors. The gun I was thinking of, by the way, with Vlad, it's the Mutineer. I was like, I couldn't remember the name of it. Yeah. There's a gun called the Trick Shot too that you can find on a mech. On the, what is it, like the one of a kind salvage that you go to for that quest? Yeah.
And that's a shotgun, right?
I think so. It's like a shotgun mag shot kind of deal. It's got a good blast.
So it's been fun playing with that mechanic, figuring all that kind of stuff out. Um, seeing what you can pull off at incredibly low levels on very hard. So
That's fun. No, that is definitely fun. And once we can tailor it ourselves and get more options, it'll be even more fun.
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, that's great that you're still playing and doing that. And interesting that you're coming to the end of that play because you're finding that there's no longer that much difference on hard. Would you say your very hard play is now? Well, you said it's feeling like normal to you, but would you say that because of the way that you can get loot so leveled up that after the first 10, 20 hours that maybe it's almost easier even?
I wouldn't say easier because you still have to be really, really careful. Because while you are getting all these really strong weapons and armor and everything, it's because they have them too.
Right. Okay.
And so if you're not careful, I mean, most of them can one shot you.
Okay, so it's kind of like if you're using one of those high damage like permadeath mods or like where everything can one shot you.
Yeah.
Wow, cool.
So you just have to make sure that you're just being careful.
And did you get into? So we talked about your No Man's Sky expedition in Starfield. Did you talk about your Skyrim play at all?
Yeah, Skyrim has been mostly just the playing with that dungeon mod.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you an added thing to do when you're dungeon diving. It's I can't remember the name of the mod. It's like thieves something or other. But these things are stashed all over. Like the one that's in Helgen Keep. When you first start the game, it's there's these little terraces behind the bear in the final cave. And if you climb up on the very highest one and jump over the log without falling off, you can find this stash. I was in one cave and it was underneath a deer carcass. So I actually had to physically move the deer, and it was there underneath the carcass. So they're very well hidden.
Oh, that's neat.
And so you really got to tear the place up.
It forces you to be aware of your surroundings too. Yeah. And it's not like you can just turn on your scanner and see everything lit up.
Exactly.
I mean, unless you have a mod that makes like good loot glow or something.
No. Yeah. So
I'm just glad you got it running and everything after all that rebuilding a week ago.
Yeah. Once I got it just reverted back to the way it was before, it was, no big deal. And it's actually kind of been a little bit easier not having, one of the things when you run collections, because you didn't curate that list, you don't really know, when you have 735 mods.
You don't know. There's no way to know.
You don't know what all those are. And so weird stuff happens. It's like, where the heck did that come from?
Oh, like Andrew, when I was convincing you when you started using mods more the last couple playthroughs and you installed like 40 or 50. Well, sometimes you'd be like, is this from a mod? Like, where does it even come from? I totally. And I'm the same. When you get a big list, sometimes what's on like the first paragraph of what the mod supposedly does. Mm-hmm. But there's always something else in there.
Yeah, surprises. Sure. But yeah, so it's been a little bit easier running a much smaller list. I think it's still like 150 mods, but
so an Xbox size list, very nice.
It's and it's all different. It's none of the mods that I usually run, so that's been kind of cool. So none of the JK. Town rebuilds. It's all a different mod author.
Those are your favorite town rebuilds?
Yeah.
The JKs?
Or the JK ones. So these have been fun too. They've got some interesting ideas about the way that they build their little towns and stuff, but it's nice to have something a little bit different.
That's cool to hear. Yeah, I asked because I jumped back into my Skyrim just a little bit too. Just I don't know. It's that time of year. You want to play more. You want to play more Skyrim, even though you got other stuff going on. But I had to. We talked about it a week ago. I had to go verify my list was working. But once you get in there and you kind of reframe things and organize and find out your list is working, then you're like, it's on your dashboard, and you see the icon there. You're like, oh, yeah, I could play that. Out of sight, out of mind. Sometimes it's been a little while, but once you've just played it, it's right there. If you're on Xbox on your loading screen, you're like, oh, gee, yeah, I could click that.
Oh, my Xbox has 3 games on it. So
Oblivion, Fallout 4, and Fallout 76.
No, Oblivion, No Man's Sky, and
of course,
76.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so that's about all I've been up to.
Very nice. How about you, Jess? What have you been getting into video game wise this week?
Well, I've actually played some Fallout. I figure, I should mention that game. Yeah, so got some good Fallout in after last week's show. I mentioned that I had a pretty busy weekend still planned and had some things happening. So on Saturday, we did a Gato stream and we did crack camps. And like I mentioned, crack camps are when we go and we look for camps that were built by people while they were on thinking about possibly next to with crack in the room, where you're like, what were they thinking? And I have to give a disclaimer at the beginning of the show this time, because here's the thing: when it's your friends and they're having fun being cracked out, you're like, okay, that's funny. You can be snarky, but I don't like being snarky at random people's camps that we just discover in the wild, because everyone, they all try the process of creating, of camp building. Everyone had an idea and they tried to make it happen, even if they were unsuccessful, even if it's just a foundation and 5 turrets and a vendor. It hurts. If their bed has no roof, it hurts. You're like, no, what? But they still, so I hate making too much fun. You know what I mean? So that's the disclaimer. But when we do crack camps, which we've done a couple times a year, this past year on the Gato, it's we get a little snarky, and it is kind of fun.
When you know the person,
all my camps.
It's like when you know the person, it can be a roast. If you don't know the person, it just comes off as mean.
Exactly. And I never want to be mean. It's one thing to roast your friends a little. I never want to be mean. So, but I can be a little bit high on the snark at times. If I let myself. So, we make a few jokes, but it was great because it was, mostly Christmas holiday stuff. And so got to see a lot of holiday camps at the same time and found some good ones as well.
So what purpose does a roof serve? None, really.
Well, if it's glass, it serves none, because in 76, the glass lets the rain and the snow through. That's one of the funniest things. We got the new snow weather machine in 76, which you may have seen.
The snow and the rain don't hurt you.
No, I mean, you're right. It's not like it's rad rain. It's not like it's acid rain.
Yeah. So the roof isn't protecting you at all.
It's shelter.
No, it's only shelter if it can stop something from hurting you.
Well, okay. So like when there's walls and a roof on a regular camp and a scorched beast attacks that camp, I mean, it's going to damage the walls and the roof before it comes through to you very much, but it does get through still.
What about...
Yeah.
It'll stop creatures from coming in and getting you.
What about rad storm when the lightning blasts? Will you take
rad
damage?
That you get shelter. No, you get shelter with a roof there too.
Okay.
Do you?
But in 76, that's not even really a thing so much.
Yeah.
The rad crackle, doesn't the rad crackle go away when you're in a building? During, rad storms in 76 do not last that long. So I feel like when you're undercover, they do, just like in Fallout 4. But now you have me questioning that. Yeah. A lot of it is just cosmetic.
Yeah. If it's anything that isn't actually functional, why in the world would you have it in your camp?
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like when we build camps, we put bathrooms in them. I mean, you're not actually, your character has no needs for these things.
So
We put up TVs and they don't even turn on.
Just saying.
White fuzz. It's true. You know, it's called role play, right? You should try it sometime. Sheesh. but no. So the crack camps were fun. It's fun to go around and see stuff, and it's a great excuse to really just jump around and see a lot of camps. And you know, a lot of ones from friends, just having fun. Like, how gaudy can you make it? You know, like we saw a couple that were really gaudy. I gotta have to tell you, the new Atlantic City stuff. Some of it, if you use it poorly, no judgment again. Sorry, poorly is a loaded word, but it can be very, very gaudy. Like one friend had a camp that essentially looked like Liberace had like a yard sale and just like threw everything out on the lawn. I was like, what? How much gold and shiny stuff can you have in one place?
Hey, now Liberace yard sale sounds like a good time to me.
You know, it does. It does. So besides that, holiday weekend shenanigans, just had a bit of fun playing in 76 mostly over the weekend. As you know, I was working on a music video for our Fallout song there that we've been opening the show with for the most of the last month, and that recorded with Red Queen Hypothesis and Alex and a whole bunch of us in the Fallout Feed Choir. Thank you, everybody who chimed in and sang along on that. And so I wanted to get it heard by more people and put it out there. And I decided really right after Andrew finished it that I wanted to do a music video. I'm like, but I'll wait for Christmas time because that will, you know, there'll be Christmas stuff, there'll be Christmas camps, it'll be fun. So I started kind of working on it last Thursday, Friday. And then after I was getting extra footage too, so I was getting more footage for it. And I did I mentioned last show, I did a camp tour for holiday camp specifically to be able to record, get some scenes of people on instruments, people as a choir, people doing this and that. But I kept wanting to add more. So like I wanted to Fallout 3 to get some footage, wanted to Fallout 4 to get some footage, New Vegas, and I recorded way more than I needed. Because that's what you do. Like when you're doing a video like that, you usually want to storyboard a little bit. But at the same time, because I didn't know what I'd be getting people for camps and I didn't know how people would submit, because while I had 6 on the schedule to see, I put out a call for the people to like just, hey, do you have a camp? Send me clips, you know, send me info. So I ended up getting like 6 more. So I ended up having like 12, which was plenty. But initially I didn't really know how much I would have to kind of storyboard it ahead. So got so much footage over the 3 days. So then Sunday, Christmas Eve, and then Christmas itself, I ended up mostly going through that, cutting it up and finishing the video, which is fun. I wanted to have it out and published, Christmas Day. Ended up being the morning after because sometimes those big projects you put off a little bit too. You end up, just going through the footage and do more than the actual completion. Then it takes longer than you expect. But it was a great way to spend Christmas for sure.
That's awesome. And kudos. I think it turned out very well. And
very nice.
You even took arrangement liberties as well. I was listening to it. I was like, "What the hell is going on? That's not how the song goes, is it? What just happened?" I had to go back and listen to it again just to make sure that I hadn't forgotten.
It was the extended cut.
I was like, "What happened?"
Remix. Yeah. So for those who don't know, the original song was like 2 minutes and 10 seconds, 2 minutes, 15 seconds. It ended up being about 2 minutes 50, which is why you might say, gee, it seems to repeat a lot. Well, it already, that's just kind of the nature of the song. But I had too much footage and I wanted to add more stuff to it. And I wanted to, so yeah, I cut and looped a couple things a few times. But I thought the flow was pretty good because with the visuals, like by itself, it might feel, like a little bit too much at that 3 minutes long. But I felt like with the footage, it totally worked,
It really
Absolutely. Did. Yep. I saw lots of people saying lots of nice things, and
I'm glad to have that. For you too, because you put so much work into that stuff and the albums, and some of obviously our community listens, but what about the wider Fallout community? You got to hear some of Andrew's music, and so it was fun to get it out there for people. And yeah, people seem to really like the spirit of it being a big community project, which we always do. That's who we are. That's who our listeners are. That's who our Fallout fam is. But let's bring in the wider community of that too and show that spirit. So yeah, I mean, technically, with between camps and singers and people, we had over 30 people involved in some way in making that. So that was really, really nice. I enjoyed that.
Really awesome.
Yeah. People in chat liked it too. So that was my Christmas for the most part, but it was well worth it. Of course, I mean, I talked to family some and stuff as well. I did family stuff, but besides that, score challenges. So you're not gonna. Well, you might believe this because some people have actually finished and hit the legendary scorecation already, like we talked about last week. But I am at level 69, 68 on the on rank 68 on the scoreboard.
Wow.
I know.
You've
I
been
know.
hammering it. Good job.
I've been grinding pretty much. You know, I've been doing my weeklies most weeks, and this week I jumped in and did some stuff to get experience. Did a good bit of grinding there, and then teamed up with Salior some yesterday and a few other friends, and did all the dailies and weeklies, and even ran some expeditions again, just because I want to get a good feel for the Atlantic City expeditions, how they all work. One thing interesting. So I have led the most sensational game expedition with the three of us, and we did it. And I've led the tax evasion expedition. When I just did it with Salior, so I was leader both times. Other times I've done it not as leader. Well, I didn't get the achievement unlocked for leading an expedition on both of those. Now, I'm not sure if it's because one of them was on custom world, and maybe that's it. So I'm gonna have to try it on not custom. But yes, if it doesn't pop for you, you're not alone. And I think I actually saw someone when I was checking a bug report, someone else saying that had happened for them too. I don't know how common it is, but I do want to get that achievement, of course. So working on that. But yeah, level 68 on rank 68. The cool thing is I just unlocked the pagoda survival tent, which that pagoda is cool. It's kind of like the House of the Winding Path style pagoda, but it has some crafting benches. It has a lot of stuff on it. It's a very full featured survival tent. So, and I want to see if I can get that floating in the air above the above top of the world.
Oh, nice.
Which leads me to the next thing, which I didn't even put on my list. But I also did on Tuesday a big stream. I think I mentioned how I was going to do it at the top of the drop, where we had together, obviously, if people listen to that episode, after our expedition the other day, we went and we did the course. Well, I finished the course with three different areas. The challenges. I should get you guys on to play it officially sometime now that everything's all built. And it was really fun. Had a bunch of people join. Shalene actually joined. It was great to get Shalene on with a lot of my streaming friends, and just everybody competing. And yeah, that was a real blast. But finishing that also took a while. So I was in 76 a lot. Now, one thing I should mention besides the expedition issue, Jingle Scorched. So the jingles, they've been a jingling over a week now. Andrew, how do you feel about the drop rate on the jingles?
I don't know why you're throwing to me. It's just totally, completely reasonable. And, it's not like when you spend, 80% of your waking hours farming these gifts and opening, 300 to 400 in a row and, not getting one of the five.
Perfectly reasonable.
One of the five. Yeah, that's totally fine if you only get 3 out of the 5 plastiforms and opening 400 of these fucking presents. That's a totally satisfactory drop rate, reasonable return for investment of time.
It's fast-knocked levels of WTF going on with the drop rate on gifts right now. Now, I realize that it's partly because they give us so much. This is one of the issues with increasing the loot table. The more possible results there is, the longer it's going to take to get any one of them. The odds are down. Do you get a special plan at all? And then when you do get a special plan, which one do you get? It's a huge table now. I don't know if they should deprecate old ones, simply up the rate for everything, maybe even give you a chance of getting 2 plans at once on a gift. I mean, how cool would that be? But yeah, it's too much. I opened, so in the regular base game, I've probably done, 40 or 50. I have not done anywhere near what you have. I've only gotten a few special plans, like probably four there. Maybe a little more, but not much. But on custom, if you turn on free building, free crafting and all that, you can make gifts to your heart's delight. So if you just want to see them and you have Fallout first, go to custom and turn on free building and all that. You won't need any crafting materials. You can just start crafting large holiday gift after large holiday gift. And I did that to see what I would get. And when Silligor was on with me, I had him do it too. Now, the thing is that you only get them when you're on that custom server. So you might learn that you can't bring them back to regular adventure with you.
Course,
so
right.
you have to be satisfied with that. But I did it because I wanted to get them somewhere. And also, I just wanted to see what the drop rate was.
Yeah.
Even doing it that way, like 50 some gifts, I got 4 plans I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Plenty of mounted dogs.
Yeah.
I don't need those.
What do you think about either, like you said, I don't know, archiving the previous batch, or I don't know, making them available for purchase in the Atomic Shop instead, or something, instead of diluting the loot pool?
Yeah, give it to Minerva. Oh, the holidays are here. Minerva's celebrating all the old holiday plans from the last couple of years of Jingle Scorched. Here they are.
Minerva, what God, there's too many currencies. What does she use? Is she gold?
She's just gold. Yeah, she's a gold bullion vendor.
Yeah,
I think. Now you have me questioning that too, but I'm pretty sure it's still gold bullion, just at cheaper, discounted price.
Right, Minerva's big sale. Right. Okay. No, exactly. That would totally work.
Mm-hmm. Or something. But yeah, we need to stop diluting the pool quite so much and make them more available, or increase the drop rate. Give us 2 plans per. Make it better. Contextual ammo is broken too. You mentioned that, Andrew.
Oh, that's such a bummer.
So it's still working fine for enemies, like in most cases. And in the expedition, it's a little bit lower. It drops less in this expedition than it has in the past, but you still get contextual ammo. But it should be whatever weapon you're holding, you're going to get ammo for out of your present. That was working for several years, the last couple, and that seems to have gone away. I think that is a bug because I have seen it on the bug report list. People talking about it on the BGS Discord, on the star board. It's getting a lot of stars. So people are all noticing and they're all saying it's a bug. So, it should be. In fact, if I remember correctly, on the Iguana Bits article about the holiday stuff a month ago, they even mentioned contextual ammo. So I'm pretty sure that is an unintended side effect.
Well, hopefully it'll be patched.
Yep, exactly. But it'll be after this year. But patched for next time.
Yeah.
But that's my Fallout play.
Now that they know it's not working, I'm sure they'll fix it right away.
I'm just hoping it doesn't. I'm just hoping it doesn't roll over into the mole miner pails and the other stuff. Where you open. Is there anything else? Mole miner pails.
Yeah, we got mole miner pails. We got spooky treat bags.
Spooky treat bags, right.
We've got cultists having their priest packs. What did he call those priest packs again? Bags of awesome. I don't even remember.
Priest packs.
You get out there the wasteland, you whack yourself a priest and you take his loot. It is kind of funny, but the priest, I think they are called priest packs.
That's
oh my
hilarious.
Goodness. So yeah, they like giving us these weird little loot boxes by any other name with fun stuff in them. A prize inside everyone, except not everyone, but some. But that was my Fallout 76 play and a little bit of the other games. Starfield. So Starfield, it's funny. I had played like Tuesday the 19th and got a decent amount of play in, and that was the last time I played Starfield until yesterday, I think. So I had gone a week without a Starfield. Yeah, just because I had multiple stream events and then the video and stuff. But I missed it. And because, my goal right now is to finally focus on finishing Starfield. And so I can play Baldur's Gate 3 and other games a little bit and finishing Starfield. Air quotes, of course. Y'all know that. But when we last left my heroine, Gemma, I had confessed last week that I was out with Barrett and we were having a buddy journey, incredible time together. Because I'm trying to get my affinity up with him so that when we get to the quest that shall not be named because of spoilers and somebody may die, it might be him. So this is like the worst. I am like, we're doing all these quests together, all kinds of adventures. I finally finished the ECS Constant, which is the first contact quest for those who know. Did a bunch of other stuff. He's cracking up. He offered me food left and right. So yeah, probably after the show tonight, I'm going to head and see if he can now be the sacrificial cow. But, but we're having fun. I love Barrett. I don't make me choose game. There are reasons everybody knows, and yeah.
I always thought that moment was scripted. Is it depending on who you have as your current follower who becomes the sacrificial lamb?
Here's how they do that. So you guys, spoilers for Starfield. Close your ears for about a minute or two. Not big spoilers, but for a quest. So when you get to the quest called High Price to Pay, a companion can die. Okay. The quest before that, what happens is the companion with your highest affinity is given a task, and the companion with second highest affinity with you goes with you on the mission. It's going to end up being one of those two. So I was given two companions, and in both cases, I'm like, can't be that. Can't be one of them. So I'm trying to move Barrett up to second place.
I see. Smart.
Yes. Okay. And from what I understand, that only has to happen in the first game. It is scripted, but only that it's one of them. But in future games, there are other ways around it in new game pluses and such. So spoilers over. Spoilers over.
Spoilers back on for another 15 seconds. I like that when I saw that character again in Game Plus that they brought it up again. You know what I mean? They're like...
They were aware? I'm not there yet. Oh my goodness.
They had their feelings hurt by it.
Oh no. Yeah. Oh no, I can't. Oh no.
Spoilers back on. All right, spoilers on. Spoilers on.
Oh gosh. Well, we have found this stuff. Anyway, yeah, so that's what Barrett and I have been doing, but we're having fun. I'm glad to have finished pretty much everything that I can find.
You're tossing Barrett to the wolves.
On Paradiso as well. Because like you guys know, I hadn't really fully explored Paradiso, so I have done all that stuff, done a number of quests there. That rooftop bar is killer. Simmons bar is killer.
Paradiso.
I like the location. Like a lot of locations in Starfield, as much as there's more to the characters than most of the games, and there's a lot happening, I still want more to do. I still want a little bit more life and quests at the location. Like every location, I don't know, Paradiso could have more. It could be a little larger. It could have more to do on the beaches. Also, why can't we buy the swimsuits? You know, I don't want to stay on Starfield too long, but there are a number of things like that where there are all these outfits in the game that we can't buy yet. We can kill people and take their clothing, but that's not right. Yes, listeners, I realize many of you who are playing Starfield have done that, but you know, think about what you've done. Is it really worth it? I had one friend showed me a picture of Sarah, and she was in Amelia Earhart's outfit. Like, Amelia, like, really? You killed her for her? I mean, it's just... Anyway, we should be able to buy more outfits, especially swimsuits. Now, I think you can get free swimsuits at that person's private island, right? You've probably been there, Ray. The private island home of that one guy?
I didn't do Paradiso.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It didn't... I started it and it was just like, you know what? No, I can't say what I want to say to these people. So I'm just not going to talk to them anymore.
Okay, fair. Yeah, I do have to say the first contact quest was over a little bit quicker than I expected. Great setup, great location, but resolved a little bit differently than I expected, a little bit quicker. And Paradiso themselves, I mean, it's cool. It's a resort. If you've had a timeshare or been to an all-inclusive vacation, you're like, yeah, this seems familiar, but it could be a little bit bigger. So
yeah, and just so they know, there are better places. There are better beaches.
Oh, there are much better beaches. That is the other thing. Paradiso was nice, sure, and it's a location these guys found, but we have found some gorgeous beaches in our time out there.
It's like a lake. It's not even an ocean.
It's nice sand, but yeah, what is up with that? I agree. It's such a small beach area.
It's like, I'm going to the beach in Chicago.
I mean, maybe a little more like Tahoe or something. Like it's a nice, isolated, natural area, but yeah. Yeah,
Hey, man,
Chicago.
my in-laws live in southwestern Michigan, and it ain't no joke, the people who go to the beach in Chicago. Man, we feel the shock waves all the way on the other side of the lake. It's crazy.
Wow. Well, Lee just mentioned that he's been to the island and got the free swimsuits there. So they are free over there at it's Sunny DeFalco's Island is the name of it. I knew it was somebody's private island location. So that works. But there are all these outfits you should be able to get. I cannot wait for more stuff. I am maybe the number one Starfield defender, although Ray, you're pretty good too. And others. I mean, there are lots of us out there. Literally thousands of us. But
Well,
but
I like playing Starfield, but I'm sure I'm not going to defend them.
yeah, that's kind of the thing. Like I love it, and I feel like a lot of people are missing a lot of it, but there's so much there that is just the hooks, that is the base game. Like I've said it a couple times. The biggest problem with it is discoverability. And that might be the maps. Maps are a lot of it, the way they're set up, but people need to be able to find the fun because there's so much there. There's so much fun stuff and so much content, but finding it is just not the same as in the other games.
Yeah.
It really isn't. And hopefully that's something that they work on with the new maps, with making things a little bit more dense and also putting stuff on these hooks. You give me all these weapon skin slots on every weapon, and yet I only have one weapon skin that I got for pre-ordering.
Right.
Like, what is that? What is that? I know it's all there for the modders. I get it. And for future content, I get it. I want the future to be now, but I'm glad it isn't because I'm going to finish my game. I'm going to play some Baldur's and also end of year catch up. Longtime listeners and friends know that every year I go through all of the game of the year announcements and lists and stuff like that. And I try to play a lot of the indie games that got mentioned because a lot of them get overlooked. There's only so much time in a year. And I play indie games throughout the year. I try different things, but like, look at my year in review. I've only played 40 some games this year, and there are all these cool indies being mentioned. So I'm going to pick like 5 or 6 of them and try to the next couple of weeks play some indies and play some smaller games, see what's up with them, kind of as a palate cleanser before we get back into something big and hopefully a roundtable. So that's pretty much my gameplay, Fallout and Starfield. How about you, Andrew? Besides the jingle experience, yeah. By the way, you guys, I texted Andrew. And I'm like, hey, I'm going on an expedition. You want to come with me? He's like, no, not now. Private world, farming gifts. He wouldn't even do an expo. He's like, I'm busy.
I don't even do expeditions anymore when they're assigned to me on the daily challenges. That's what I use my free rerolls on. Yeah. So my gameplay opened, like I mentioned, 300 plus gifts or easily, maybe 400 plus. Got 3 out of the 5 plastiforms, but I know there's more new stuff than just the plastiforms, but those 5 were the ones I wanted.
You're a big fan of the plastiforms.
Yeah, I think those are pretty cool looking. In real life, I put them out in front of my house, so I figured, I'll try to get them. There's the sleigh one, the Santa and the reindeer I don't have, and the Nutcracker. I think those are the 2 that elude me yet. But other than that, I've got a lot of good stuff. I was chuckling to myself because it's like, just like in real life during the holidays, I'm having weight issues in game again. Ha 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 ha. Just because of all the legendaries you get and the gifts and everything. You're just constantly having to go to the legendary weapon thing and dumping off legendaries to keep the weight down, and all of the the alcohol. You open 400 gifts, you get 400 bottles of alcohol all of a sudden in your inventory.
It's a lot.
Jesus criminy. Yeah. What do I do with all this stuff? And you gotta be sure you're standing next to your ammo machine too, because they overload you with a bunch of like crappy ammo that you don't want, but you still keep just in case you decide to do, I don't know, maybe one day I'll do a cannon build where I get a broadsider and do a...
Merry Christmas. Have a harpoon.
Yeah,
Why not have 3? They're not small.
So, you hang on to those just because you never know one day. Oh, but so a billion gifts later, and a couple of them I'm still missing. So that ends Tuesday, I assume.
Yep, Tuesday.
So I'll give it an effort over the weekend, maybe a little bit. I think we're going up to the in-laws for New Year's Eve. But so yeah, I probably can't grind as much as I have been this weekend. But yeah, how dare you try to drag me away from collecting my precious presents?
I am so sorry. Like, play the game with us. No, I'm grinding gifts.
Grinding gifts. Oh, and I also did the thing where you buy all the high quality gift wrap from the vendors, and you craft them and all that. I didn't have any better luck with that either.
I mean, you get double the drop rate on the medium. It is the medium gifts that are kind of the best. Obviously, the large you get a higher percentage chance. It's double each one. Large handmade is double regular large. Handmade is double regular medium size gift. But it's still low. You know what I mean? So you're moving like from 1.5% chance to 3% chance, or 2% chance to 4% chance. Like it's not high at all. But the mediums are the most cost effective, people say, with cost to chance ratio.
Well, I mean, I went one round of opening a shit ton of presents, and that's when I chimed in and I was asking, wait, weren't you guys saying about opening slowly makes a big difference?
Yeah, make sure you write one at a time now. Yep. Did you?
Yeah, I did. I was making sure that the print in the upper left-hand corner was fading on the previous present before I was opening the next. I figured that's probably like a 4 or 5 second pause in between.
Yeah, that's perfect. Mm-hmm.
The point is to just not spam the whole pile at once, right? That's what you should avoid doing. Okay. No, I definitely did not do that. A lot of the time I was like backing out of the Pip-Boy each time, and then opening the Pip-Boy again, seeing if that had any difference. I was making sure I had all of my luck all the way up to 15 and stuff like that. I don't know if that made difference or not. I was like, I can't really tell. I'm sure people that I think you said make sure you boost your luck as much as possible. So that means people have run the numbers or whatever. But I don't know if I noticed any huge increase, because if that was a big increase, I'd hate to see without the I'd hate to see the other side.
Yeah,
of that.
it's been pretty poor. I've had it is all in the end luck. Like, I've heard of people having better drop rates for sure, and it might just be the ones that they need. But there are people who have opened less than 100 and have most of the plans, which boggles the mind. And also, you can trade them. There is that. You can trade excess with friends. So, like, I know Eric has a few extra.
Right. Well, good. I will look around, look at vending machines and that sort of thing. I was going to ask you, Jess, just because I accidentally scrapped a blueprint the other day.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to remake a blueprint for my Santatron station that I was just plopping down quickly all over the place. When you make the blueprint, do you consider your orientation to what you're building before taking the blueprint?
Not usually. No. You mean where you're standing when you save the blueprint?
Yeah.
You can spin a blueprint when you put it down. So no, I don't.
Yeah. I've just found it annoying because it's not quite perfectly straight when I took the blueprint, so I have to rotate the thing every time I build it. And so now that I've done it like 300 times in the last weekend, I'm like, I really should have lined this up. I really don't like having to line it up each time. Are you saying that
the stuff you put on the blueprint or the blueprint itself? Because the blueprint, I mean, of course you're going to rotate a little, but
But
That's
it's
interesting. I never really
just
thought
like,
about that.
oh man, I was standing on the wrong side of it, and I want it to be oriented this way every time with the turrets pointed out. But I did it
Oh,
with me standing on the wrong side of the fucking thing. So
yeah,
now the
yeah.
turrets
You've
are
got
pointed
to.
in, so now I gotta rotate it every time. Ugh.
Easiest thing there, if it makes a two-step, is drop a foundation first, then drop your blueprint that'll snap to it.
Yeah.
And that way it'll always be oriented the way you want based on the first foundation. But that's two steps now, which is going to take you longer than rotating. So you're still annoyed.
But I was just gonna ask you if you ever run into an annoyance with that. It's just because I've
No, I
done it
haven't.
like a billion times this weekend.
I
As well.
still have my Santatron
oh,
blueprint
fucking
from 2 years
rotated.
ago. I've used it every year. Yeah.
Yeah, I was so upset that I accidentally deleted it. I think I recreated it pretty true, but I may have added a cooking station, one of those little tiny sit-down cooking stations. But yeah, I love that. I was running with that Santatron station blueprint for a good few years, just like this was like my third year running on this Christmas camp that I had. Want to pack it away for the year. I was just thinking about that. New Year's stuff. The Atomic Shop. You see that looked like sort of a shiny black dress with sort of like maybe some gold trim and gold flare on the hat or something.
Did that come out on Tuesday?
There was something. What's that one called?
I didn't look at the shop this week. No, I didn't. I'm a little bit low on atoms. Like I was busy with stuff and I'm low on atoms, so I didn't even look when I was on Xbox yesterday.
Yeah, it kind of looks like the mistress of mystery get up, but like different color pattern with some like accents of shiny gold. The gala dress.
Oh, say no more. That sounds awesome. I remember seeing pics of a dress that was coming out that I hadn't seen yet. So if that's in this week, oh yes, that's the beautiful one with the little with kind of the over jacket and the bow. Yeah, Cherry was wearing that. Looked awesome on her. Yeah, I do like that.
Okay. But another item that I was super doped out with, I was like, oh man, I really want that. But one thing that I think is super annoying is that weapon paints are way too limited on the ones to which you can apply them. I don't understand why, if there's not a cool weapon paint, why not just be able to apply it to everything? Like, that's, I guess that's just so you can divide stuff up more and have more things to sell and more things
it
to
also
reward.
Has to be designed. It also has to be designed. I mean, if a person, every paint they're taking, they're deciding how to apply it to a weapon. So you can't just make like a generic. I mean, if you did a repeating pattern, it would look kind of lame, but you could, like with the bats, like the way they have the bats in the minigun, like you could apply that to anything. But most things, no, you need to have the right things in the right spot.
Oh, come on. Don't explain things. Like...
Sorry.
No, but there's a paint job right now in the Atomic Shop too, and I have no idea what they call it. But it looks like Tron. Sort of like everything's got like a fluorescent neon highlight.
Is that the radioactive outfit? I'm looking right now at what's in the shop. The radioactive outfit might be the one.
Radioactive outfit is the that's the new dress.
Did you see the killer? Maybe the atomic set backpack. I'm just seeing the list. Did you see the killer xylophone?
Oh no, I don't think I noticed that.
There's a xylophone instrument, and you can play it. And you get the little mallets, and you do the doom 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 doom. I'm wondering if I could turn that into like a little back rub machine, where I can get like a bed sunk in, so a person's laying on it and they're getting like pounded with mallets.
That's smart. And at Halloween, we're totally gonna get a bone variant, right?
Of course, we're gonna get. It's like you're reading their mind. You've got the roadmap right there. Yep.
Oh, that's great. No, that sounds super slick. I'll totally look at the xylophone. That's hilarious.
That one I have seen. I see what you mean now. So yeah, the ones you were thinking of, the Tron looking stuff, that was from last week.
Oh, was it? Okay.
It's the light 'em up paint, the light 'em up bundle. Light 'em. Yep.
But I wish I could put that on the little power fist gauntlet thing that I'm wearing right now, or a Deathclaw gauntlet. That'd be very cool to have the a melee weapon, like, can you imagine the streamers you get in front of your face waving that shit around? Come on, Tron.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, but so I'd like to be able to apply more paints to more different things, but that's something I don't even ever buy in the Atomic Shop anyway. Do you ever spend atoms on paint jobs? I don't do power armor. That seems like kind of like a power armor game,
Yep, I don't do power armor. I don't do skins. I don't do outfits. It takes enough atoms just keeping up with everything for camps in the shop, which I do get everything there. I mean, I'll get skins for like my own gun. So like if there's a double barrel or a combat shotgun. Oh, I got a great new shotgun. I got a quad combat shotgun with a plus 50% crit. Which
wow.
I love my quad explosive double barrel. Like obviously that's my number one gun. But there are times when you just want to shoot fast. And I've always had Herbie for that. But the pump shotgun reloads so slow. Reloading 32 shotgun shells is so slow on a pump. Now with the combat shotgun, it is fast. It is beautiful. So that's now going to be my number two gun.
I did not even think about that. Instead of you loading like 4 shells at a time or whatever, you have to sit through the shell animation 32
literally
times.
There are 32 of them. So I try to reload by time down like 16, but yeah, you're just sitting there like you're in the middle of fighting, you're like
cha-chug, cha-chug, cha-chug,
and it doesn't stop.
That's hilarious. Oh my god,
the worst. The worst. So I'm kind of glad to be switching to a combat. It's a little bit lower, but that 50% crit, and if you get the right monster, you get another 50% crit and everything together. Like, it's pretty great. I do have to say, it's been, 9 months now, maybe even a year since we got the update where you could actually see what all your different mods and actual effects do. You know what I mean? Where instead of it's like, increases accuracy, decreases range. Like, now it actually tells you the number values, which is awesome for those of us who like to actually pay attention to that. Though it does make modding take longer, but.
Yeah.
Maybe eventually we'll get that in Starfield too.
Oh, please. Yeah. Yep.
It's always like it increases damage as hunger is satiated. And it's like, I haven't eaten in 3 weeks, and it's like, eat a sandwich to improve this weapon, Andrew. Yeah, no, I do like that they break it down though for you. Like, I just happened to have, before this weekend, and I blew all my caps on high quality gift wrap. I had I was near the 40,000 limit. Is that still the limit? Is 40,000 still the cap limit, or did they increase that at one point?
No, it's still at 40K.
40,000.
40K max caps, yeah. Which I got max cap the other day. I max capped somebody like a month or two ago. I mentioned during Halloween. Yeah, it's just good to get out there, especially when you got holiday gifts happening. Though, just get out there and buy that gift wrap. Never get max capped.
Yeah. That's what I did. I'm down to literally 300 when I was at like 39,000 caps the other day. But I had an Aristocrats Deathclaw gauntlet with like faster swing speed on it, and I was like, holy crap, this is really fun. And I just happened to have a bunch of caps on me, and it's I was just noticing that it's on the breakdown, there's even a sub menu. It's like up to this many percent, and then another sub menu says right now you have this much of that percentage or whatever. You know what I mean? So they actually really break down all this, a lot of info. I think they maybe even take it down a step too far even. It's like, okay guys, how did you mean that it takes longer to mod stuff now?
Oh, because if you're taking everything into consideration. So, when you've been playing the game for a long time, like we have, you start to say like, okay, yeah, I want hardened on this. I want severe on this. This is what this means, what that means. Oh, aligned versus this. You had your preferences based on the very simple description and your experience with them. Once we got these descriptions added, it fundamentally changed our understanding. So we knew what was actually happening, and it meant some of our choices were wrong. But also because you get the plus and minus, each gun can be a little bit different in the use case. So you actually have to stop and kind of think about it. Like, is 10% less recoil and 15% accuracy better than minus 20% recoil and, crit damage or reload speed? Like, you actually, because you can see the actual numbers of the trade offs, this may not be the case for everybody. But for me, I'm in there really kind of crunching it to just try to, like, how am I going to use this weapon? What would be the best mods for that use case?
Yeah, absolutely. Taking it through the Consumer Reports analysis.
Oh my goodness. Hey, shout out to our friend Sullivan in chat, mentioning that he recently won two 15,000 cap giveaways. Only reason why he's not poor right now.
No way, Sullivan. Congratulations.
Yeah. Sullivan out there in the wasteland.
He got a
Just
shout.
raking in the caps.
What you spending them on, Sully?
If I were to guess, it'd be wrapping paper, but more.
More and
Anywho.
more. Oh, let's see. What else have I been getting into? Private World, Crash, and Reclaim. There was a day when I was just around the house doing laundry, walking around, so I would like set a timer for 20 minutes to remind myself to come and sort of jostle the joystick a little bit to make sure that the world wouldn't reset. But I was on a private world for just hours and hours and hours one day, and so I had a bunch of presents being collected, and I had just gone and made one more final loop and had gone and collected everything, and then I went to fold more laundry and I came back and like everything was frozen. I was like, oh crap, it froze. So I jumped out of the private world, restarted the game, and popped back in, and I still, they were all still up and running. The private world was still around. I was like, oh, thank God, I didn't have to go. I did have to reclaim all the workshops. You know what I mean? But everything was still, built and had items in the collector that had been.
That's how it should be if you're
time.
quick enough. Yeah.
But that's a big relief. I was like, oh crap! If I lost all that shit, that was just like hours of collecting. I would try to, at least once or twice an hour make a loop and go empty out everything, but and that's how you get the freaking 400 gifts to just sit there and open over an hour and be just pissed off when you don't get the
angrily opening your Christmas presents.
Oh, God damn it!
It's my favorite time of year.
I love this shit. God damn it. But let's see. Other than that, I've been playing a little bit of Shelter, not quite as much, just because of the weapons, the Christmas gifts. I've been doing a lot of that in my mess around time. But Shelter, I'll probably hop back to that after Tuesday. A little bit of. I did get the people back up into the 60s. I think last week I'd mentioned that I had a max of like 85 or 90 at one point, and then had dropped all the way down into like the 30s, I think. But I bounced back up into the 60s. I'm making having a concentration and increasing the population. So I've been doing that a little bit in the Shelter, but mainly I've been working on those gifts. So I should be doing that right now. I don't know. We're during the show. Why can't I have my Xbox going right now? Why can't my character just be spinning in a chair like it's Fashnacht, right?
I think I hear a Jingle Scorch coming. Yeah, I don't know.
Kill it. No, that's one of those things that, like, when you turn off the game after 2 weeks of this shit, you, like, hear it in your sleep. You hear it walking down the hall. You're just like, oh my God, are there Jingle Scorched everywhere? It's one of those ghost sounds. I hear the spooky Scorched theremin sound. That particularly sticks in my head when I'm not playing the game afterward. You know what I mean? It's just like you hear it just in your real life. You ever done that thing where you're driving to work after you've been playing lots of Skyrim and you're like, I really want to pick those blue mountain flowers over there or whatever. Like you see things on the side of the road and you're like, oh, that's I need to quit playing so much Skyrim. That's that would make a good potion for the, stop it. You're driving to work. Quit thinking of Skyrim. Yeah, so that's pretty much my gameplay, guys. Let's.
I was muted when I was laughing, but yeah, how often at work do you tell yourself that? No, stop thinking about Skyrim. Focus on what you're doing.
So thinking about the potions you're gonna make.
Even harder for people listening to us while working. Thank you, listeners.
Yeah,
Thank you for thinking about Fallout while you're
thanks
working.
about Fallout,
I totally
guys.
understand.
They have no idea how we feel about that. As they're doing exactly that. All right, so that's what I had for my gameplay. So let's roll into some
What time is it?
game time. I've got a little something that I've prepared that I figured would be fun little play around. Jess, you also thought that we would do a which one was it? So what would you like to do? Should we?
We can do mine. I just have a quick question.
Yes.
Are my sounds coming through? Did you hear the sleigh bells jingle scorched
I
earlier?
heard the jingle scorched. I heard them.
Do you hear Santa coming for you?
Oh, gross! Yes, I hear Santa. Stay away, Santa.
That was a surprise. They added some Christmas sounds to my soundboard without me adding them. So I found them earlier this week. I'm like, oh, really? I got Christmas sounds. I never added those. Nice.
Oh man, that's like when you wake up and find a whole YouTube album on your iTunes. You're like, where
It's exactly like Apple.
Man? What is
Yo,
this?
dog. Bada wanted us to give you this. Happy Christmas.
Get the
or
Santa
Happy New
Claus
Year.
off of my soundboard.
It's not just that. Check this one out.
Oh, Happy New Year, Charlie Brown.
Anyway, just checking if my sounds were working. Okay, so my game that was hastily put together during Ray's gameplay. So here's the idea, and I've got a bunch of ideas for this. The game is called Which One Was It? So I'm going to name an item or a thing. You're going to tell me which game it was from. Now, the idea I presented to the guys was, is it Skyrim or is it Fallout? But that's a little bit more complicated. I couldn't throw that together early on because I need to find Fallout books and Fallout items that sound like they could be in Skyrim and Skyrim stuff that sounds like it could be in Fallout. Because if I say Mysterium Xarxes, these guys know that that's Skyrim, And if I say, Meridia's Beacon, they know that that's Skyrim or Elder Scrolls in general. So that'll take some work. So here's what we got instead, you guys. Which one was it? Locations edition. I am going to read off a location, and you're going to tell me if it was in Fallout. Well, really just which Fallout game, but I will tell you right now, pretty much all 3, New Vegas, 4, or 76. Tell me which the game was in, or there are just a handful if it was in multiple. And if it's in multiple, if you can name the games it was in, you will get bonus points. Okay? So I know we're getting complicated here, but hey, this is how we roll. So what game is it? And if it's multiple, say multiple. And then if you know which ones it was in, you get multiple points. There is one in here from the earlier games. You'll know it when you find it. So if you're like, wait, I don't think that was in 3 through 76, you are correct.
All right, let's give her a shot. You're tossing out location names, and we are giving you the game or multiple games.
Yep. And do you want to do order? Or do you want to just be like someone chime in if you know? I think we'll do chime in if you know it. How does that sound?
Sure. Say your name to Buzz, right?
Yes, perfect. Okay, let's see. Tuning and transmission. Okay, first one. Faneuil Hall.
Andrew.
Ray.
Fallout 4.
Fallout 4. Point for Ray. Sorry, Andrew, I heard you too, but Ray was slightly first. Next one. Hangman's Alley.
Andrew.
4. Yes, Fallout 4. 2 in a row. Good job, guys. Okay, next one coming in. Red Rocks Canyon.
Ray.
Ray?
New Vegas.
New Vegas is
It
correct.
just
Good job.
it
3 for 3 so
sounds
far, you
Western to
guys.
me, so yeah.
Okay. Next up, Slocum's Joe. Slocum's Joe. The guys are thinking.
All right, Ray.
Ray?
4 and 76.
Yes. All you had to do was say multiple to get the point. But you, with saying 4 and 76, you're going to get 2 points. So you got multiple and the games. Good job.
Wow.
Okay. And yeah, so when it's multiple, all you got to do is say multiple, and that'll get you the point if you know it's more than one. But I appreciate you guys breaking it down. Next up, the Capital Preservation Society.
Andrew, that's got to be 3, right?
Yes, Fallout 3, run by our good buddy Abraham Washington. The Capital Preservation Society is in Rivet City, and a fantastic place to see artifacts of the old world. Speaking of artifacts of the old world, the USS Constitution.
Andrew. Oh, wait. 4. I was going to try to think, oh, God, would they put that in multiple?
You came in and you got it because, I was trying to trick you by putting it after. But you might think I said the U.S. Constitution, which, of course, you have to get and bring back to the Preservation Society. Exactly. That was Fallout 3, but no, it was Fallout 4 for the actual ship. One of our favorite locations in 4.
Yeah.
Well done. You get a correct chime for that.
Ka-ching.
Ka-ching. Okay. Here's a hard one. Perhaps. Smith Casey's Garage.
Ray. 3.
Yes, Fallout 3. Awesome. Do you remember what the location is, Ray?
No, I think it's no.
That's actually the garage where you get access to Vault 112 and Tranquility Lane. So
Okay.
Smith Casey's Garage is the location outside of it there. Okay. Next up, possibly a tough one. Joe Spucky's.
That's not ringing a bell.
Anybody with a guess?
And we're on life support here.
I'm sorry, nobody got that one. It is multiple. Joe Spucky's is a sandwich shop. It is in both 4 and 76. So it's Joe Spucky's sandwich shop, and it's not an important location in either of the games. It's just there. I wanted to put in one really hard one.
Can you tell me where they are in each game? Do you know?
The one Joe Spucky's is in Beckley. I'm 99% sure of that. Joe Spucky's is in Beckley in 76. But in Fallout 4, I just think it's downtown, maybe North End. I'm not 100%. I'm sorry.
Is it like a marked location, or would it just be a hole in the wall restaurant with a name?
Hole in the wall restaurant. Yeah, you can go in. It has a sign and all that, but I don't think that it pops up as a map marker.
Cool.
So, yeah, that was a tough one. Okay, another semi-tough one, but it is a marked location at least. Old Olney.
Ray.
3.
3.
Yes, Fallout 3. Old Olney is up there where you find a lot of the Death Claws. It's a cool location up by the Republic of Dave as well, which is not on the list, although I was tempted to put it but I figured that one was maybe too easy. Okay, let's see. 4. I've got a few more. I've got 15 of these total, you guys, so we are over halfway through.
Wow.
Okay, here we go.
A lot of them.
Evergreen Mills. And you're not going to lose points if you're wrong, so feel free to guess too. Evergreen Mills. No worries. I'm going to give you a quick on your think.
Ray. New Vegas.
No, but good guess. Evergreen Mills is a location in Fallout 3 on the very west side of the map. It's a raider location. It's got kind of a bit of a pit. You remember when I described a bit of a pit, and there's a behemoth trapped in a cage in the middle. So you attack the raiders there, they unleash the behemoth on you. It's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yep. But not a location you see every time you play Fallout 3, because I think maybe a quest sends you there. Maybe you get some Nuka Quantum. I'm not sure. But yeah, definitely not something you see every time you play. Okay. Next up, you guys. University Point.
Andrew.
4. Fallout 4, that is correct. Excellent. Okay. Next up, we have Camp Forlorn Hope. Camp Forlorn Hope.
Ray,
Ray?
New Vegas.
Correct. Excellent.
Ding, ding.
Ray jumping in with that New Vegas knowledge definitely helpful for this one. Okay. You've got 3 to go. Well, 4 kind of. We'll see. Okay. Carson's State Asylum.
Parsons Estate Asylum, Andrew 4.
Andrew 4, yes, you are correct. Good job. And I worded it that way because some of these I did to be tricky because you hear asylum, you think, bam, 76, back to that old asylum again. But no. No, it is Parsons State Asylum. I told you I had Meat Week RCP in my head this week.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Awesome.
Next up, White Powder Winter Sports.
Andrew
White Powder
76.
and yes, perfect. Andrew, okay. The game was really close. Ray had pulled ahead, but we are now 7 to Ray, 6 to Andrew. And 2 to go. Poseidon Energy Plant.
Andrew.
Poseidon Energy. Andrew?
Oh, wait.
You saw the look on my face, y'all.
Yeah, I was going to... Yeah. I'll say multiple.
Multiple is correct for the point. Yes, Poseidon Energy. Now, do you know which games Poseidon Energy is in?
3 and 4.
Yes, and?
76?
Yes, and?
Not New Vegas 2, is it?
Yes, and?
Not 1, is it?
Oh, yes, and?
And 2?
Poseidon Energy is in all of the mainline games.
How about
Nice.
Tactics?
I don't believe it's in Tactics. No, I actually don't think it is, or Brotherhood of Steel. But yeah, so Poseidon Energy, long time thing. You see Poseidon Energy gas station in New Vegas, but also technically Helios 1 is a Poseidon Energy location. There's a big sign brought to you by Poseidon Energy next to Helios 1.
Beautiful.
So it's all throughout there. In Fallout 2, I think it was part of like the Navarro location. It's a huge thing in Fallout 2, which we haven't played yet together. We will sometime probably, but it's in there, and that's kind of where it started. And so because of that, because being a long-term thing, they brought it into all the games. But of course, we know it the most in 76. Well, in 4 because of that one, location at the top of the reservoir.
Yep.
And then in 76 because powering up Poseidon is such a common thing from early on.
And who has the dam in New Vegas?
So that's the Hoover Dam. I don't know if any Pacific Energy company owns that. Like in the past, it was probably Poseidon, but I don't know if they actually say.
Okay.
Also, I thought I was clicking a pen. It's actually a mechanical pencil. So I got a huge bit of lead sticking out.
Stick it back in. Careful.
Can I? Let's see if I can. Yes, it worked. Thank you, Andrew.
Boom.
Okay, last question. Because with that one, Andrew, getting multiple correct, if not all the games, it became 7 to 7. So, last question. Shady Sands.
Oh, Lord.
Ray,
Ray?
Fallout 1.
Yes. Fallout 1. And technically, it is in Fallout 2 as well. But I'm not worrying about multiple on that because this was our extra credit.
And there was much
but because
rejoicing.
it becomes the seat of the NCR. Awesome. Well played, y'all. You figured out which one was it. We have Ray with 8 points and Andrew with 7.
That's fun. We should do that more. I like that.
Okay. I got a couple of ideas for things to do with it for sure. So
Yes.
it's kind of like the scream at your phone list, but the opposite.
Bring it back. Bring it back. All right. So we're doing a double dip of game time this week. And I have brought a game that I am calling New Year, New Beginnings. So this game has to do with the beginning of each of the familiar Fallout games that we have played recently. I will read a trivia question to you. The first one is easier, and then you can get 1 point, 2 points for the second question, and we'll just bounce back and forth. Ray, we'll go ahead and start with you, sir. In which vault does the journey begin in the original Fallout game?
Wow.
What's that number on your back?
It's a darn good question. I think the first one you go to is 15, but it's
Yeah, that's the one you go to.
12.
Oh, so close.
Oh,
Jess, would you like to steal?
13. Vault 13.
Very good, Jess. Jess got a steal on that.
I feel like
one.
Rick gave that to me a little bit, but it's all good. Thank you, Ray.
All right, Jess, for the double dip power steal. Armed with the Pip-Boy and meager equipment, the Vault Dweller leaves Vault 13 for the nearest source of possible help. Which Pip-Boy model does the Vault Dweller carry?
Oh, muffins. Gosh, we did just play this. I should know. And so I know that we've got the different marks. I think it's still a 2000. I think it's still an early 2000. I don't think it has a mark on this one. So Pip-Boy 2000, final answer.
Pip-Boy 2000 is correct, Jess. Double dip.
Nice.
Good job.
Thank you.
All right, Ray, we'll go back to you. This is from Fallout 3. What was the social experiment performed by Vault-Tec upon Vault 101? What was the social experiment going on there?
This is a tough one because it's
you'd think
actually
I'd never
debated.
played that game. I don't remember.
Jess, we want to steal?
Yeah, so we're talking about 101 from Fallout 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is debated on whether or not it's actually the Vault experiment, but it's an autocracy experiment where giving the overseer ultimate authority, and they're experimenting on the idea if people are raised with an authoritative structure, giving the overseer each generation ultimate authority as more of a dictatorial style of leadership.
That could also possibly be it, but what I found just when I was looking stuff up was here that the vault was to never be opened.
Oh, really?
The vault was to never be opened.
I mean, that was kind of most of them. Most of them until they got the all clear. Interesting. Yeah, because like I said, I don't know that it was ever actually explicitly said.
There was never to be an all clear called for this vote. And continuing with Fallout 3, Ray, Part 2. Name the cake robot who earned the nickname Mr. Liability. The cake robot at the beginning of Fallout 3. Mr. Liability.
No idea. I don't think I've actually played this game.
You've never played Fallout 3. Jess, have you ever played Fallout 3?
Once or twice. What was the question?
Name the cake robot who earned the nickname Mr. Liability.
I love that seed. You know, when he comes to cake, it's beautiful. I don't remember his name, though. I'll come up with something. Let's call him Beamington.
I wish it were Beamington. It's Andy. Andy is the name of that Codsworth style Mr.
How not so British of him. I mean, your Pip-Boy in your Megaton house is Wadsworth, like Codsworth.
Andy,
like they usually have, proper names, not Andy. My goodness.
So Jess, I think we're starting with you on this one.
Yes.
And Fallout 4. Fallout 4 begins with character creation using the acronym SPECIAL to assign attributes. What is the level 10 intelligence perk on the Fallout 4 perk chart?
Oh, wow. Level 10 intelligence on the perk chart. This is some serious trivia, my dude.
Level 10 intelligence.
Not like I haven't looked at it all the time.
Level 10
Yeah.
intelligence.
I got to not only remember what it is, but like the official name.
I'd also accept a description of what it is.
I mean, I guess I'll just say nuclear physicist. I think that's only like 7 or 8, but nuclear physicist.
Ray, would you like to steal?
Nerd rage.
Absolutely, Ray. Good job.
Nerd Rage is top? Oh my goodness, of course it is. That's awesome. Okay.
All right, for the double dip steal, Ray. Name the issue of Grognak the Barbarian, which can be collected after leaving Vault 111 and returning home.
Can't remember if it's Bat Baby. Is it Bat Babies? Or Blood on the Harp? I'm going to go with Bat Babies.
It is Bat Babies. Jungle of the Bat Babies. Good job, Ray. The double dip
Amazing.
steal. Good one. All right, we're up to 76 early on in the game here. Fallout 76. How long after the Great War did Vault 76 open up, Jess?
It was 25 years,
Very good, Jess.
which was 5 years later than originally expected.
And part 2. What nickname was given to the holiday of the vault opening, which is also the title of the first quest in the game?
This is for Ray, right?
This is you, Jess. You
No,
Oh, I'm
you
getting
got
a-
the
I'm getting a
first one
two-parter?
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got
Okay.
the first part right.
Reclamation Day.
Reclamation Day. Golly, got all the points there. All right, Ray. Last question starts with you. This is everybody's game. This is the everyone's favorite Fallout game. The entry, we of course we left out New Vegas. Haven't gotten to that in the list, but here I figured we'd get to everyone's favorite here. So Fallout Shelter. Here we go. Including elevators. How many room types can be built when starting a new shelter? How many room types can you build, including elevators?
I'm going to go with 7.
Jess, would you like to steal?
I would like to. Can I is the question. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I'm
She's singing Offspring.
gonna go with let's go with 6. It's probably actually like 8 or 9, but 6.
It is actually 5, right? When you start out, you can build the elevator, living room, power, water, and food.
Oh, I was thinking of the vault entry. I was thinking of vault entry too. Okay.
Oh,
That's
stuff that you
obviously
can.
it's already there.
That's stuff that you can build. Was the way it was phrased. Sorry.
Absolutely right.
And the follow-up question to that. This is I think back to Ray here. Ray, who was the first legendary vault dweller added to Fallout Shelter just 2 weeks after launch?
Preston Garvey.
Absolutely, Ray. Good job.
How was he not there at launch? Oh wait, someone had to go to the museum and rescue him. That's how.
Because someone needed a perception bobblehead. And they're like, who are you guys? Thanks, guys, for playing New Year, New Beginnings. I just thought that'd be a fun little... how each game began. A little something early on.
That's fantastic. I love the trivia around that.
All right, you guys, that's game time for this week. What else do we have on the agenda this week? Oh, let's check in with
Jessica, to the office, please. Jessica, to the office. Your iguana bits are ready. Please come pick them up.
what do we got to pick up this week?
So the bits were a little bit low, as I mentioned. We're kind of straight out of bits. We might have to find somewhere. Who knows where we're going to get iguana this time of year? But we'll make do just like they do in the wasteland. So yeah, one thing I didn't mention last week, I thought would be a fun iguana bit to bring forward. Uh, every once in a while, Bethesda does game studio dev profiles on their site. It's not always under Fallout. A lot of times it's under if you go to Bethesda.net and you go to the blog and the news, the latest news, you'll see other articles, because they divide them up by game. And that's how people usually find them. But if you just go to the general news blog, you get everything in there. You get your Skyrim, you get your Doom, you get your Fallout and Starfield. So they did a Meet the Dev for Chris Takahashi, which, as we know, Chris Takahashi, longtime modder, did a number of mods, starting with Fallout 3, I believe, although he actually mentions doing something for Oblivion in the article, which I hadn't been aware of. But, he did a lot of NPC mods, character mods, quest and location mods, Fallout 3, and into Fallout 4. Of course, we all know him as the creator of interesting NPCs, though he did more than that.
Tales of the Commonwealth, right?
Exactly, Tales of the Commonwealth. Yeah, it's funny because the ESP is called Interesting NPCs, right? So that's how I was thinking of it, a 3D NPC. But yeah, Tales from the Commonwealth is the overall mod name. And they started doing Creation Club stuff, and then he started working for Bethesda, as we know. And he's currently working on Starfield. Did a lot of stuff there, but it was a very fun article interview. So if you go to Bethesda.net, you go to blog news, latest news, scroll down, you'll find the article. One or two things I wanted to point out. So talking about history, he mentions he'd been modding for 6 years as a hobby. But it was the Creation Club that got him to consider making this a career. So people ask about, paid mods, blah, blah, blah. But it really does allow some mod authors to step in, step off, and, make a career out of it. So he says it made him a better developer in a lot of ways. He had to clean up his code to a professional standard, learn about systems beyond the dialogues and quest systems he'd mostly used, and all that. And now he's working on Starfield. He mentions, though, along the way, things I didn't know. So after Creation Club, but before he's working on Starfield, he actually did some of the light allies for 76. So Sam Nagoyan, the ally Sam Nagoyan get, who's the musician who feels a bit out of place in 1950s Americana, he was made there. And he did a few of the other light allies. He doesn't say all of them, but I thought that was cool. So maybe Granny Junko, maybe Daphne, who knows? but he did some of them for 76. And then in Starfield, he polished a lot of things. He did some faction quests, a lot of the encounters, and a lot of the NPCs. He wrote a lot of NPCs that you meet, which obviously is one of his fortes. But some of the random ones you meet just have dialogue with, back and forth, that kind of thing that might not give you a quest, might not lead anywhere. But he did a number of those. And surprisingly, this was the fact that I said, I need to put this on my Iguana Bits. He did the Adoring Fan for Starfield. So writing all that dialogue, bringing forward the old stuff and then adding new stuff. And he worked with Craig Seckler, the voice actor, of course, of the original and the new Adoring Fan. He got to work with him and get all those lines recorded. And so what a cool thing, huh?
Hey, your pet project for the next couple months here is going to be the Adoring Fan. Get to work.
I just thought that was a cool responsibility and also an awesome thing. I just linked the article into the Discord for people who like to use links. But he did the vendor Paisley, who has the big old alien pet Grumble walking around. And once again, so many of these are random encounters that you might not have met in the time you play, because there's so much in Starfield you don't necessarily see in a single playthrough. Even at my amount of time, I hear about things that I haven't seen yet. So
I didn't realize that he had a relationship going that far back into the history, all the way back into 3, you were saying?
Yeah, we think about him with Fallout 4, but he started modding with Fallout 3, at least regularly. Yep.
I mean, it's a long stretch out on a limb, probably not, but the noodle vendor has nothing to do with him, right?
I don't know. I mean, he is named Takahashi.
Yeah.
And they do slip references into, fans and modders in the community. I mean, we're getting that with 76 for sure. Little by little, getting more references that seem to be tied to the community and things we've done.
I just didn't know if Takahashi was a super famous, Japanese noodle chain place or something. that I'd never heard of
No,
or
I
something.
don't know enough to say if it's like a common name or
Yeah.
a common thing like that. That would be cool.
Yeah.
So we got that, and that was kind of the only bit I have because not much happened in the world of Fallout this week. That we haven't already talked about. I did want to mention, of course, usually pull up the roadmaps. I'm doing that again. 2XP happened last weekend and is over. We still have the jingle score going until community calendar. There it is. So we still have jingle scores going until this Tuesday, the 2nd. We do have, let's see, what do we have? Pretty much nothing that exciting in January, in my opinion. You may love Caps of Plenty or Gold Rush, and if so, more power to you. But the Burning Love Challenge event, the kind of February Valentine's Challenge event, is going to start January 30th. So we'll talk about that and figure out what that is again as we get closer to it. But that is the stuff to look forward to on the calendar. And then, of course, we mentioned last week, but if you didn't tune in last week, I'll just mention again, we got the next gen confirmation on Fallout 4. And, that they're taking longer and going to be in 2024. They let us know, confirm that delay. Last episode, I also mentioned that people waiting for Fallout London, to be patient. And since we hadn't heard anything from it this year, understand that there may be a delay. But, from what I'd heard, that they were working on it hard and things are coming together well. And then very shortly after the show,
the next day.
Yeah, the next day they put out the release date video, kind of confirming that and saying it does have a release date now, a release date for April 24th of 2024. So cool looking date, 24/04/24, and we have a date in April. So that's 4 months longer than people expected to wait. But previously it was just supposed to be by the end of the year 2023. So 4 months. They went into the reasons why. If you watch that quarterly video, I'd say it's one of their best quarterly videos. They delve into the number of cells they're doing, the actual size of the map, the different levels. Ray, it sounds like you watched it.
Oh, yeah.
What'd you think?
I can't wait.
It looks good. Did you see the part where essentially when they tallied up the cells and talked about how big it was, it's actually the full size of Fallout 4 and Far Harbor together?
Yeah.
It is a huge mod. And from what you see there, definitely quality. And I can say from what I've seen, quality too. Here's the fun factors for listeners of the show, a little behind the scenes stuff that I heard from the crew. When they were deciding the actual release date, most of them are English, as you might imagine. So they reversed the dates in England. So, they were thinking, well, what if we put they were like saying, what about April 8th? So that would be 8/4/24. And some of the Americans on the crew might have mentioned that that'll make people think it's August 4th. Like you have to do a number over 12 to not confuse the Americans. So one of many reasons why they chose 24 for April 24th. I just thought that was a fun fact for you Americans. That's what we do. So yeah, that's exciting. Super excited about that. And then of course, talking Starfield, since we do on the show, we don't have a Starfield pod yet. The first Starfield content will be dropping. The next big update will be dropping for Starfield in February. And then they're hoping to do an update every 6 weeks or so after that. And of course, we know some of the things coming, maps, new ways to travel, number of quality of life things, etc. We don't know what's in that first update. A lot of people are reporting, they're like, first update coming February, it's going to have maps. It's going to have a new way to travel. It's going to have new ways to customize your ships and decorate. These are things that are on their roadmap. We don't know for sure they'll be in the one in February. I do think the maps one probably will be because it's maybe the most requested and most needed. So we'll see. But I wanted to kind of cover back up over some of that cool stuff we were talking about and get a few more guana bits in there while we can. Well, before they're totally cold.
Yeah, I think the maps are going to be pretty disappointing. Because I don't think we're going to get dungeon maps.
No, it's just going to be
cities. Get is city maps. Mm-hmm. And anybody that's played for more than an hour or two already knows their way around all the cities. And
I would say
the maps don't really matter anymore.
We do, Ray, but I think there are people who have been playing for tens or hundreds of hours who still can't find their way around Tequila City and some of the others.
No, I can't. I can't believe that.
Andrew raising his hand to say, yes, I know my way around too.
No.
Well,
But that's
you
a
know,
thing with me, especially in, Bethesda cities. It takes me a long time to get acclimated as to where a city or how a city is oriented. I remember, one day just sitting down and being like, I will fucking figure out how um Dragon's Reach. No, what's the city called? The town called?
Whiterun.
I will figure out Whiterun today. That is the project. Just like running outside and then running through the middle, then running from one end to the other, and then backwards and finding like all the paths and all the way. And then I was like, okay,
Right.
this is now how I have to discover how to run a Bethesda town. So I just like started doing that all over the place. It's like it's a giant hassle to actually learn where everything is, and I'm not good at it, and it takes forever. If I step out of a doorway, oh shit, now I'm facing the wrong way, and then I have to stop and think, okay, I was left, but now I'm facing the other way, so now it really fucks me up. So it no, Ray, I don't know how to get around your town. That's basically what I'm saying. Anyone who's played more than a couple hours definitely knows how to get around all the cities on all these different planets all over this damn galaxy, right?
Well,
I,
there's only a handful of cities.
I do hear you. I do hear you there, Ray. Like the actual cities, we know it's New Atlanta, Sakila, Sidonia, and Neon. Stuff like Gagarin Landing or the Key, Paradiso, Red Mile. They're not quite as large. New Homestead, like they're there, but it's the people who've been playing for a while. They know the city somewhat, but it was a real stumbling block for people just starting too. I know
Oh, yeah,
almost
it
all
was
of us
very
when starting, we're like,
frustrating at
"Oh, I
first.
don't want that," and that frustration turns people off. So if we can reduce friction, that'll make some people more comfortable. But there are people like not just Andrew. There are plenty of people who really just maps aren't their thing. It just isn't. So
Yeah.
that'll be cool.
I just want to know when I'm running through the frozen lab, if I've hit all the tunnels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because there's no way to tell.
Yeah, no, there's no way to tell. Yeah, there's no way to tell if you've actually completely explored a place and found everything.
Yep.
Can you drop an item like a trail of breadcrumbs to see where you've been?
Nope.
No,
because nothing will show you where you've been. Nothing will show you, what's left to, if there's
What doors you've
a
gone
little
through.
a fog of war,
Mhm.
spot where oh, I need to go there, and explore more in that part of it. So, and some of them, like that frozen lab is, it's very sprawling. It's very, multi-leveled, and
The cryo facility there, the
yeah,
cryo facility. Yeah, I'm not sure I think I've completely done that one when been in there, but that is a tough one. There are a couple like that. Yep. It's I will a quick shout out for people too. I know most everyone in our Discord has seen it because I've shared it a few times, but if you haven't been to mapgenie.io for their Starfield maps, they have the greatest Starfield maps. Like mapgenie.io/Starfield is the full address. But they've got great Starfield maps for all the cities and outposts. They've got a good list of the snow globes and star systems and all that. There are a number of good guides out there. At this point, the Starfield wiki isn't super comprehensive. So these kind of guys, the one on Hard Drive, a few others are, or sorry, Hardcore Gamer, not Hard Drive, Hardcore Gamer, have some really good info. I'm glad they're out there for us. That about wraps it up, Andrew.
That sure does. So does anybody have anything else they would like to get into before our shouts tonight? I just wanted to say that I've been watching stuff on Amazon Prime more recently over the last couple weeks. So I've been seeing more of the show, like snippets and like different promos and stuff coming up, just like Amazon Prime tags and stuff. And so it's making me kind of excited just to see Fallout, like in TV. You know what I mean? Just like that's a real thing now. So it just makes me kind of excited to see the, our little world that we're so familiar with is now sort of like hopefully
Getting out there.
hopefully finding a new audience. You know what I mean?
Yeah, getting known. Absolutely. I think it will. I watched one video recently about the show where they're like, remember, the Fallout TV show was not made for us, the fans. They are aiming it towards regular people.
Yeah,
It was the funniest. Like, obviously, they're trying to include all kinds of fun Easter eggs and things for fans and stay true to the story. And we've seen how good, like, the design is and stuff like that. But the show did have a point that they are going to try to make it more accessible. I'm sure. You know what I mean? Just it's the nature of it, right?
Yeah.
But what we've seen so far, it looks really good. Speaking of Amazon Prime, you saw that they're going to now be adding ads to regular programming on Prime.
I don't think that I had seen.
Yeah, so it's going to be what they're doing. They're going to be, and I'm not sure if it's rolling out in January or February, but sometime soon they're going to start doing ads for regular Prime content. So I know it's Prime is something you get with your membership. So people are not happy they're going to be some ads too, but you can get ads or you can pay $2.99 a month to avoid ads and get an ad-free plan. Essentially, I think with the rising cost and shipping and everything else, Amazon has decided they need more money from the Prime show stuff, which, opinions will vary on that. I will say
oh my goodness,
that they already owned Freevee, and Freevee is most of the shows that I watch on Amazon Prime are actually Freevee shows that they have. And they're already throwing ads in there. And I have looked for a way to pay to get rid of them because I do not want when I'm watching all my sci-fi and fantasy shows on Freevee, I do not need ads so much. So if they actually put ads to everything and then let us pay to get rid of that, that'll actually be a benefit for me as a viewer. But I do feel bad for a lot of people. And yeah, ads everywhere, like the Buzz Lightyear gif.
No, but I do like seeing Fallout in them when you do have to see them. So, all right. Let's roll into some shouts then. Who we shouting out this week?
I'd like to shout out everybody because I got nobody written down. I think we got a few scorecations in the community, but I don't know. I didn't check the list on scorecations. I don't have anybody written down.
Shouts, let it all out.
These are the things that we dream about.
Do without. Come on. No shouts. Let's see. Someone got scorecation. Who was that? Was that Eric? By the way, we already announced that last week.
Yeah, Eric. Eric did get scorecation.
I thought someone else did. Was it Ashley? Maybe Ashley did.
She was getting.
Alex did a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, he did. Yep.
All right. Well, congratulations to all you guys.
Scorecation!
I'll probably be there in another couple weeks. I'm hoping.
We're doing pretty good. I mean, I'm in my 60s. You're probably in your 80s, right?
I think high 70s, 78, 79, something like that.
Yep. Cilior is 70 on Xbox, 50 is on PC. Randy is at 80 today. Randy is at 80, so he's getting there. A lot of people getting up there. Ray, we didn't get you any scorecation points when you played with us, right? So you're still at 0.
Yeah, I'm still in the high zeros.
0, buddy. All right, good.
Awesome. Phew.
Guys, we're concerned about that. Can't let you score.
Yeah, a couple of my Twitter streaming podcast friends, like Lawrence and Kevin St. Joe, so he was mentioning like a number of friends, but they don't listen to the show that often. So, but scorecation to you guys too.
Scorecation. Congratulations, everybody. All right. Do you guys have anything else you want to get into tonight?
No, me and my party penguin, we're going to play some Starfield after this and see what happens.
Bro, party penguin. And then on that note, you can find him over there on the Twitter at RayLB and also at BBCISSS for the Butcher Baker Candlemaker in space for all of your No Man's Sky needs. Ray, thanks so much for hopping on.
Good times.
You can find her over on Twitter at SleepIs4T, also at YouWastelanders, and at Dames Who Game. Jess, thanks so much.
Happy New Year, y'all.
You can find me at Indie Android, and the show can be found at the Fallout Feed. I'd like to thank everyone for downloading this edition of the Fallout Feed. Happy New Year, and we'll see you in the wasteland.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the Roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout Feed, a Skyrimatic podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the wasteland.
I want the future to be now. We can kill people and take their clothing, but that's not right. It's got a good blast.